everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessie. If you are new around here, I am a kindergarten through 6th grade music teacher, and today we're going to talk about play-along videos. They have been all over the place, and I feel like virtual learning has just catapulted music educators into doing more editing and playing around with video, and it has just been so cool to use them virtually for my students, but also in person. It really frees up the teacher being able to walk over instead of having to like point to exactly where we are in the music. It takes out that tracking section, so you free up and you can help the kids a little bit more. So I wanted to share with you guys how I have found kind of the easiest way to make these play along videos. It can be intimidating, but it really only takes a little bit of editing. And so let's jump into it, you guys. 5 easy steps in order to make play along videos. The first step is to get out your notebook because you're going to need to do a little bit of music analysis. So first you're just going to pick your song. I am going to pick We Will Rock You by Queen because I am in the middle of a rock unit with my older kids, and I think this would be a really great song to do a play along to. Then I'm going to figure out the form. So I kind of started sketching down what the form is. It seems like there's 2 main sections to this piece, and then you're also going to want to figure out the timing. How many measures are in each section of the music? So that's kind of the first step, really getting that music analysis, listening to the song over and over again so you really know the pattern of the music. You obviously want to try and pick a song that has a pretty clear form. I have found I've tried to do some songs and sometimes they're just not quite meant to happen because the form is just really confusing, but We Will Rock You has about 2 parts to it and a giant guitar solo at the end. So that is your first step. Choose a song, figure out the form, how many measures are in each of these sections of music, and then you're ready for the second step. So step number 2 is going to be figuring out what kind of play along you want to do. There's many options, but I would say beginner friendly ones are either just strictly do a rhythm play along, so that could still be played on instruments if you wanted to, or just clapping, or you could do a body percussion. I feel like body percussion is a pretty easy, simple one to start with. So rhythm or body percussion. Other ones could be a cup routine I have done in the past, a tennis ball routine, an instrument play along, but those 2 I would kind of recommend with starting with. So once you have that, you also want to go on to like Google Images, or you go on Teacher Pay Teachers, and you want to get your clip art of your body percussion. Dancing Crayons has and on Teacher Pay Teachers has a lot of really great music educator clip art. They have instruments, they have body percussion signs, so that's what I like to use. But honestly, a good old Google search, you probably can find what you need, and make sure you have that in a folder ready to go for when you make your visuals.
Step number 3 is the most time consuming. It is creating the visuals that you are going to be using for your video. So the first thing that I like to do is open up PowerPoint. PowerPoint is definitely my favorite program to use for creating things like this. I think the ease of use and being able to move the clip art around and manipulate things more easily, this is definitely the program to use. So I put a title at the top. I put, the artist by Queen. I like to label the section. I have my pieces of clip art in there to show the body percussion. I also have a time, a kind of a countdown going on. So each slide I copied so that when it's going through the play along, it will be counting down how many measures before the next section. So I think that's really important to help the students know what to do. Next up, I have the B section. So here's a little bit of a different style. I have written up above the notation, and then I have on the xylophone to help them, show where it's going to go. I'm using an arrow. So I have the arrow on G, and when it advances to the next slide, it's going to bring down to F, E, and then D, and then back to E, and I have one more E. So that really helps guide the student exactly what to play. So I'm going to slide back over. It gets me to my original prototype. And so there's a slide for each one of those as I'm going through. Now for this slide, I am not really showing exactly when they're supposed to stomp their feet and clap their hands because it is such a familiar, part. But if you wanted to, what you would do is you would highlight or put a shadow, or no, glow, that's what it's called, a glow effect around it. So you click on it, and then you go to a format, and then you find glow, and then that will add it. So then you're going to duplicate that slide, you're going to copy and paste it, and now this time this second shoe is going to put that glow effect on. And then you're going to duplicate that again, and you're going to put the glow effect on the clapping hands to signify that it's the next one. And then finally, if you would like to show the rest, instead of putting a glow effect on text, this is the Music Ed font that you can download into your computer. It is like the best $30 that I've ever spent. I will link it down below for you guys. But I like to, for that, put an outline on it. So I think I had the wrong part of the rhythm, but I highlight it and then I use that outline effect and make it a little bit thicker. And so that will be the last section. So then what I'll do is I will go to present mode. And then as I'm advancing through the slides, it looks like it's highlighting from, the first shoe to the second shoe to the clapping hands to the rest. And of course, I forgot to, on the fourth slide, unhighlight, is that a word? I don't know. Take the highlight off of the hand, so I'm fixing that. And let's go back to the beginning here. Perfect. Okay, so that is a little bit behind the scenes of how to create the visuals. You're going to have quite a lot of slides when you're doing this. It's almost like it's stop motion, like it's stop motion, is that the right word? Like claymation, like you make the little adjustment and then you make a picture, and then you make the adjustment and you take a picture, and then it's like a million pictures and you just like run through all of them really fastly and it looks like, animation. It's kind of what you're doing when you make a play along. You're making all of these images and these slight variations, and so when you go through it, it looks like a video.
One other thing that I think is really helpful for students is also having this little up next portion. So as I'm going through, I have the A section, and then when it's about to switch to the B section, on that last slide, I put up a little up next. So it kind of gives the students time to react. I feel like sometimes things are too on the fly and they don't have that prep work. So then they go through B, it goes through, and then again at the last slide I have the up next, so it's going back to, they know it's going to land on a stomp. They have just enough so they're ready for the next section. That really helps out immensely with my students. I think it's a game changer. So once you have your clip art and your, glow effect on the things that you would like to have on it to really track it for them, arrows is another good way, just changing the color of the font. So everything is in black, but then G is highlighted in purple, and then the next one, just F is. So you really can do a lot of effects to help kind of track that. And so it's going to lead to having a lot of slides, you guys, a lot. And I didn't do that track effect here. It could have been way more. So I kind of think choose your battles. Think about what is really going to be helpful to your students. So you're not having like 500 slides. It depends, right? It depends. Okay, so once you have that, here is the next step. Your fourth step is to do a screen recording with the timing with the music. So what I like to do is play the song off on my phone, and then I'm going to use a screen recording software like QuickTime to take that screen recording of me going through the PowerPoint. So let's go ahead and get that screen recording set. So I'm going to come over to QuickTime. I'm going to press New Screen Recording. I'm going to make sure that we don't need the microphone on because it's really not recording anything. We're going to add that music in later so it has a more professional feel. And also the timing, it doesn't quite work out when you try and record it with another thing going through the microphone. So I'm going to press None. And then I'm going to record, press that screen. Then I'm going to come back over to my PowerPoint. And so I'm going to start it from the beginning. Then I'm going to cue up my music. I'm going to press play on it. I'm not going to because I don't want to get demonetized. I'll get demonetized later when I put this We Will Rock You on YouTube, that it will be coming out for you guys. So let's pretend I have the music on. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to tap on my keyboard the timing. Dun dun ch, dun dun ch, dun dun ch. I'm going to go through. And that's it. You're just putting the timing with the music. Okay, let's pretend it goes to the B section. We will rock you. Dun, dun, dun. And so I'm timing it out when I'm clicking through the PowerPoint. And you just continue that on and making that screen recording while you're listening to the music so you have the perfect timing, and then you don't have to do the editing. This takes out the editing for you because you're kind of manually making sure the timing is correct. So once you have that screen recording, you're going to come back over. You're going to stop it, and then you're going to save it. And I'm going to say, We Will Rock You. Screen recording. And I'm going to save that. And so that's what I'm going to drag over and do my just little bit of editing. So let's talk about the last step in just a moment here. Okay, we are on the last step. This is the light editing step. So you could use iMovie. I am using Final Cut Pro, but the idea is going to be very similar. So let me show you guys over on the computer. Okay, so the very first thing that you're going to do is make an event that you're going to pull your media into. So I'm going to make a new event. I'm just going to have it be the date for today. And I'm going to click on that event, and then I have an untitled project, so that's where I'm going to start. And I will put it as that we will rock you play along. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to drag in my content. So what I like to do is just minimize it, and then I have it saved on my desktop here. So I'm just going to drag that into my timeline. Okay, so that's the first step. So then you're going to pull your music from iTunes over into your timeline again. So I just searched for it, and now I'm going to pull it in and put it underneath. So now what I need to do is I need to sync up the audio, trim off the beginning and the end of the video where I was just kind of getting situated. So that's what I'm going to do first, is I'm going to trim. So I'm just going to drag and kind of, once I don't see my desktop anymore, let me make this full screen again. Okay. I'm going to drag this back over and over. And the song really starts like right away. So I need to make sure that I'm kind of starting right as I'm in full screen. So I'm going to drag it even more a little bit. Ooh, a little too much. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now that I trimmed off the beginning a little bit where it goes into that full screen, now I'm going to see if I can get it synced up to the music. And this is really just trial and error. You are going to trim off a little bit at a time to make sure it kind of syncs up with that music. You might have to drag your music over a little bit here and there. And there's not too much of a science to it, it's just kind of trial and error for this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so once I kind of get the beginning linked up and synced up with the first note, kind of that part, then the rest of it just falls into place, because again, you already kind of manually made sure that it was in with the timing with the music, because you did that screen recording and you were timing it with going through and advancing in the presentation. So really you just have to sync up the beginning and then just kind of tweak it, just double check. There might be some times where you maybe were a little bit slower, wanted to go ahead and make it a little bit faster. You might have to cut out just a tiny little piece. But other than that, pretty much you just have to get the beginning synced up, and then the rest of it is. And then just at the end, you might have to just kind of trim off a little bit, a little excess, but that is it. So then what you're going to do is you're going to export your beautiful creation. I like to use master file if you're using Final Cut Pro, and then you're just going to press next. Save it where you would like to save it. I'm going to save it under my, oh, it was under YouTube. I'm going to save it there, and actually let's play it final play along. Sometimes I have too many of the similar titles. I'm going to save it. It is going to be exporting up here, and then you can do what you want with it. You can put it on YouTube for your students. You can put it in a Google Drive so that you can share it with them. And yeah, that is it for this video, you guys. Wait to hang in there. It is definitely a time-consuming thing, and that is what I think is so cool, seeing so many other music educators putting their play-alongs on YouTube, because I think it really helps us out. We can, you know, kind of share, and because if one person was making all these play-along videos, you would do nothing else. But they're really fun, and they're so worth it. So please let me know if you guys make one. Like, link it below. I would love to see it if you put it on your YouTube or put it somewhere public, because I would love to see your creation. And let me know also, have you been making play-alongs in your classroom? Have you been utilizing them? Because I've been having so much fun with them. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.